Hello everyone, this is Paul from Ortho Eval Pal, and today I want to talk to you about Osgood Schlatter disease. Now, I received tons of questions on YouTube about what Osgood's is, how long it takes to get better, and all kinds of questions about it. So I thought today I would do a more comprehensive evaluation and talk about this a little bit more, talk about how we treat it some, so that you can try to help yourself at home if this is kind of like a light case of Osgood Schlatter disease. Okay, so what is it first of all? Well, let's just talk about the anatomy a little bit. The quad muscle, which is a very powerful muscle, comes over the front of the thigh like this and comes down over the kneecap and becomes a tendon. And that tendon is a structure that comes all the way down here and attaches to what we call the tibial tubercle. Now, what happens is this pulls and pulls and pulls on this area. Now, when you're an adolescent and your growth plates in this bone right here are not fully closed, those new growing cells, those new growing bone cells right there are soft. And that quad muscle pulls and pulls and pulls. So for people who do a lot of squatting, jumping, cutting, changing of directions, that pulls a lot on that. And basically, like pulling the skin on your arm, it goes up like this and then becomes hardened over time, producing this bump that can be very painful to touch and can become very inflamed in that area. So, who do we see this in most oftentimes? We see this in 11 to 14-year-olds. We see it in people who are very active. So, athletes or people who do a lot of work where they are squatting and lifting a lot, because this continues to pull and pull and pull and just gets irritated and inflamed. So, how do you treat this? Well, you can treat this by resting it, and that's the hardest part because usually the people who get this are very active and they want to continue to be active. So what we do is we try to get people to slow down at least for 3 to 4 weeks and do other activities such as swimming or biking or some upper body work, core stabilization, hip strengthening. There's a lot of things you can do and not cause agitation to this part of your tendon. So letting it rest a little bit is important. The other thing that I like to do is some flexibility activities, okay? So the first exercise I like is to help increase the flexibility of the calf muscle. I like to increase the flexibility of the quad muscle, hip flexor muscle, and hamstrings. So I'll give you a demonstration on how to do one of each of these. And remember, do these nice and easy. They are a low load, long duration stretches we like to hold for about 30 seconds a piece. You can do 3 to 5 repetitions of each stretch, but we'll just demo one of each today so that you can have some idea of how to begin stretching. So the first thing I'd like to do would be a slant board stretch, which is for the calf. Basically, we would have this up against a wall so that you can hold on to the wall like this, and you just lean forward while the foot is inclined. We don't like to step off of the edge of a step because it can put a lot of pressure under the forefoot. This is the best way to stretch your calf muscle. Right here. So it would be a 30-second stretch, and we would do several repetitions and step off in between and switch legs each time. Okay. The next stretch is going to be a quad stretch. So what you do is you put one hand on the table and grab a hold of this leg. The important part here is not just to bend the knee because that can put a little tension here, but to try to pull the thigh back while keeping the upper body nice and straight so that the stretch is in the front of this thigh right here. Okay. Again, that would be a 30-second stretch. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So the right leg is going to be out in front. This leg will be straight, trying to drive the pelvis forward, and you should feel this pull right in front of the hip and in front of the thigh. And again, you hold that for 30 seconds. The next stretch I like to do is a hamstring stretch. So I'm going to have you lie right down on your back. Take a towel, a sheet, or anything that's solid like a belt, and you put it around the base of the foot, keep the leg straight, and you pull till you feel a good stretch down in the hamstrings over here. Again, you hold that for about 30 seconds, and you would do 5 repetitions on each side. So these are nice little flexibility exercises that are not going to agitate the Osgood Schlatters and are good to do just to help improve your mobility. Now I'm going to let you sit up. There are other factors to why people develop Osgood Schlatters, and part of it could be foot knee posture. So a knee that collapses in because of a flat foot, or maybe just the way a person is made, can increase the angle here and cause an excessive amount of tension. So if people have really flat feet, I recommend kind of an off-the-shelf orthotic, something that has a really nice arch to it and supports the heel with a nice deep heel cup like this. When you put that into the shoe, it helps to prevent the knees from collapsing inward and can be helpful in terms of giving good alignment to the knee. So it's not going to be like miraculous. You put in a pair of orthotics and your Osgood Schlatter starts to feel better. What we do with Osgood Schlatter is we give it kind of a shotgun effect. We try to line everything up. We try to decrease inflammation. We try to rest it a little bit so it can settle down. Now, let's say you're going to continue to be active and you have a last big race for the season and you're going to run it no matter what, even if you have Osgoods or not. One of the ways you can help take pressure off of the area is to use what we call a patella tendon strap. As you can see here, you put this strap on. There are many different types out there. This is one I like in particular because it's not too elastic-like. So what you do is you put this strap on between the bottom of the kneecap and the Osgood Schlatter bump, and you put it right over the tendon. It needs to be tight enough so it is causing some pressure on the tendon. And basically what happens here, when this big powerful muscle contracts, instead of pulling all the pressure through the attachment down here, you're actually dissipating force and pressure through the strap. Okay? And by doing that, you can take that pressure off down there and it can actually feel a little bit better and not inflame it quite as much. Let's say you are getting older. You've had Osgood Schlatters when you were younger, and you don't have a lot of discomfort. It's not very inflamed, but you have this nice big bump down here, and that hurts every time you kneel on the floor. Maybe you are a carpet layer, or you lay hardwood floors, or maybe you're a carpenter and you're doing a lot of work on your knees. That is going to kill you. This is the biggest complaint that adults have after they've developed Osgood Schlatters when they were younger. So what I recommend with those folks would be to wear a knee pad like this. This is a straight up volleyball knee pad. It's nice and thick and it's nice and cushy. You put that right over that spot to help protect it, and life will become a lot easier. Okay, so that is something you want to do, is protect that from getting struck on hard surfaces all the time. Now, other things you can do to add to this would be taking anti-inflammatories, and you should do this with, in consultation with your PCP, something like Advil, ibuprofen, Aleve, any of those non-steroidal anti-inflammatories can help decrease that inflammation in that area. If you're having a significant amount of pain in that region, you can also do ice massage. I like ice massage because it's very direct. There's no real need to ice down the whole leg with a big ice pack. So I like to use an ice massage because you can just work on that one spot right there for about 4 or 5 minutes, locally decrease the pain. Ice is not a big anti-inflammatory, it's a pain reliever. So if you're having a lot of discomfort, this is a great way to do it. Basically take a Dixie cup, put it in the freezer, fill it 3/4 of the way with water, let it freeze, and then you can tear the top off and then utilize that. These are nice little fancy cups that we use because you can hold on to the plastic and not freeze your fingers while you are doing it. There are other topical anti-inflammatories like Voltaren that you can use, that you can rub on that area. They're quite effective for that because the Osgoods is real close to the skin and there's not a lot of soft tissue, not a lot of muscle, not a lot of fat in that area, so it can get pretty well absorbed. So those are different things you can do to help yourself at home. Now, if this becomes so bad that you just can't take the pain, you really should be seeing an orthopedic specialist for this, getting some x-rays. Some people will develop some bony fragments and pieces that will come up into the tendon and can be very, very uncomfortable, even just to walk and go up and down stairs and to do light squatting activities. So I hope that I was able to give you lots of information so that you can help yourself at home and understand Osgood Schlatters a little bit better. I hope that you liked this video, and please give us a thumbs up if you did. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel for more upcoming videos because we have lots of content coming your way. And we might even do a video talking about how to strengthen the leg for people who do have Osgood Schlatters. But that will be up and coming. So again, thank you all for watching. Take care.